Hello. Great to be here this evening, and I'm quite excited about what I'm going to speak about. So, I'm continuing this feels quite low, I'm sort of going like that. Sorry, it's just not quite perfect yet. That's better. But then when I bend down, I may need it altered. It's all right. Dan, my beautiful assistant, will assist. It's all right. Sorry for those who are listening on audio. So I'm continuing our discipleship and mission series and looking tonight particularly at Jesus' commission to us in Matthew 28, 18 to 20. But we've described the three priorities that we have as our vision for city life. So many props today. I've got to get the right one. One of these, which you can see in the foyer, we've been working as a team to look at our three priorities to see our vision reached, and they are passionate spirituality, loving God, missional discipleship, loving one another, creative solutions, impacting the world. And tonight, I guess my particular talk of making disciples particularly comes in this missional discipleship strand. So do take one of these with you. Really pleased. So tonight, I wanted to talk particularly about making things. Who's a maker here tonight? Who makes things? Great. That's really good. The dictionary tells us that to make something means we can bring something into existence by shaping or changing material. We can produce or bring about, or we can cause to become. That's what it means to make something. So I thought if we're talking about making something, as in making disciples, it'd be really good if I did make something. I can see you'd all really appreciate that. I hope you do, because I've gone to great lengths. So I'm going to be making something tonight using clay. But first of all, just so that I don't feel alone and that you're all watching me at work, I kind of need 3 volunteers to also be making something tonight with some FIMO. Yellow, pink, white. Yep, Soph's up for it. So's Abby. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I can't come to you. Can't move from the mic. Okay, giving out FIMO. Okay, you can go back now. Sorry. Sorry? It's all ladies. Oh, did we need a man? Sam would quite like to make something. Can you hand So I was thinking, before you just make anything, I was going to help direct you. I was thinking the pink FIMO was going to be a pig. The yellow FIMO is a giraffe. And the white is going to be a sheep. Do we have a thumbs up from our 3 people? Great. Okay, I'll leave them to start making and see how they get on. We'll come back to them. So we know from the Bible in Ephesians 2:10, it says that God made us and that he says that we are his masterpiece. We are his visible picture of beauty to the world. Say that to the person next to you. You are a visible picture of beauty to the world. Okay, that's enough. People are blushing, colouring up. Sorry, didn't mean to put you on the spot there. Pink was the pig. So God has commissioned us to co-create with him and keep building this masterpiece, letting people know of the love of the Father and their place as a son or daughter in the family. So God sees our lives together as his masterpiece. It's not masterpieces, but together we make up his masterpiece. Do you recognise any of these? Okay. I can't see them. You tell me what you can see. Who's the artist? Yeah. And what's it called? Yeah. Yeah. And who's it by? Yeah. Just checking. No, Leonardo da Vinci, not DiCaprio. Just in case. Next one. Have you done the next one, Matt? Yeah. Oh, I did A-level art. Come on. Who? No, not Rossetti. Any other art lovers? Lady of Shalott. Kathy, 10 out of 10. It's The Lady of Shalott by John William Waterhouse. I just wondered if it would have helped to have be sitting down or with a... Okay, that's great. Okay, final one. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone know what it's called? Sculptured 1499. Pieta. 10 out of 10. Okay. So, God is the potter and we're the clay. But we're also part of the creation of this masterpiece. How can we help create it? We're called to make disciples. Bend down. We're called to co-create with him. We're part of helping one another grow to maturity. We're also part of inviting new disciples, new people to be part of the family. This is part of co-creating and co-creating with God this masterpiece. Sorry. I feel like I'd quite like a chair now. Don't worry about the chair, everyone. No, sorry. I've had enough attention. It's okay.
And you won't have to keep moving.
Thank you. This definitely is Blue Peter anyway. So pleased I did make one earlier. How to. Yeah, this will be on YouTube later. Thank you. So we're called to make disciples and to co-create with God. And at this point, I just wanted to say that discipleship happens in community. It's not just about a one-to-one master and apprenticeship type relationship that sometimes we can think of as discipleship. It's shared with others who are part of the family of God. It's mums, dads, young people, siblings, building family and growing up the children and the young people in faith. So we're all growing and following Jesus on the journey. That's the vision. So firstly, in making something, we need to see the clay. How does it become a masterpiece? How does it become a beautiful bowl? This is an open question. Handwork. Yeah, thanks, Matt. Sorry, go through the fire. Yeah. But initially, if I'm seeing the clay, what needs to happen for it to become bowl? Yeah, absolutely. I need a vision, I need an idea, and then this clay's got to be pliable, which it is by now because I've just been going like this for so long. So it needs someone, the maker, to mould and shape it and see the potential of what it can become. The maker needs a vision of what it can be and willingness to be involved in the process of transforming it so that the clay can become the masterpiece. Just got to catch up now on how I'm actually meant to be, what I'm meant to be doing to making it into. Bear with. I'm really grateful to my youth leaders, Pete and Paula. When I was 11, they spent time with me. They answered my questions about God. They prayed with me when things were really difficult at school, and I didn't have any Christian friends. I didn't have any support. And they inspired me with their passion for Jesus. And I wanted to be like them. But they saw potential in me. And they called it out. They saw it and they prayed. How are the volunteers getting on? You're getting Caleb involved. Okay, that's good. What was your experience of kind of starting off? It was very difficult. Because why? I couldn't hear what you said. Wasn't very malleable. Okay? So it was hard work. Bit like my experience here. The clay needing a lot of moulding, a lot of shaping to make it soft and pliable. And equally, it can be hard work when we disciple another. Investing time, investing energy, encouragement for what they can become. But it's the vision that keeps us going of what we see. But it's hard work. Thanks, Sam. Any other feedback from the others? What are you trying, Abby? The giraffe. Hey? Pigs looks great, right. So it's hard work and it doesn't always go according to plan. Yep. That sounds a bit like discipleship, doesn't it? And relationships. Don't show it yet. Let's wait. Let's do the show and tell at the end. So like the clay, we have to allow ourselves to be softened, to be shaped and moulded by God and others. In order for that to happen, we actually need to give permission for this. We need to foster intentional mutual accountability with others. And my feeling in thinking about this is that discipleship relationships are beyond friendship. Many of us have lots of friends within church as well as outside. But discipleship is strategic. It requires effort and it requires time put aside. And my experience has been that those relationships don't just happen. We actually have to ask for input and ask for feedback. And I had to go to my youth leaders when I was younger, and I had to ask them to pray with me, speak with me at different points. I sought it. That still happens now. Another part of working with the clay, I haven't found one yet, is the process of getting rid of air bubbles. Have we got any sculptors actually here? Just checking. Clay. Potter. Okay, Lynn. I'll take lessons at the end. But in order for your masterpiece not to explode, the air bubbles actually need to be worked out, pressed out by the pressure, before the pressure of the kiln is applied. So in the same way, we need to share our weaknesses, our sin, our vulnerable areas with one another. We may need healing on our journey towards maturity, so we don't blow up or fall along the way. So I would invite you to consider healing prayer as part of that process, and we can help with that, as you know. Next, when the clay is soft and pliable, it can be formed and shaped into something. Forgot about that a bit. And with people, we need to see what's inside. We need to see the internal beauty inside of people and bring it out like a sculptor, like someone who works with wood. They focus on it, don't they? And to make something beautiful, they bring out the grain. Have you ever seen some beautiful wood sculptures where you can see the grain? So who is God using you to bring the beauty and the potential out of? Trying to think in my own life how this had happened. I was just thinking about my old boss, Julia, who I work with in Connections. She's not very open to God, so it's not always easy to talk about God, but she knows that I'm a Christian. And I decided to ask God what he saw in her. And so I had some words, which were that she was fiercely loyal friend, full of integrity, and she was faithful. And so I wrote it in a card to her, not kind of saying, God says, but I was sort of saying, I've been praying for you, and these are the things I feel about you. And it opened up more conversations, and it opened up more prayer. And later on, I actually asked a friend to prophesy over her as well, and she's received it and allowed me to pray for healing, so for her. So who are you seeing the beauty in? Who can you bring out that beauty, that potential in God? Next, as Martin says, when it's shaped, the clay gets fired and glazed. So you can see what you've got when a bit of heat and pressure is applied. It takes the masterpiece to another level of stability and maturity. And it's the same with us. We can have seasons of difficulty and we can come through them, like the firing process, even more resilient. And I was thinking of those within our own community who have had that experience and come through. Andy and Vix, thinking of Pauline Pink, just naming a few. But we need one another through these times of difficulty to walk through. But it does build maturity and, walking in the faithfulness of God, doesn't it? When we walk and stay close to those people, encouraging them through the hard times. Can I see the 3 works of art now, please? Sam, what's that? I love that. That's a sheep. And I've got a pig. And a giraffe. Oh, big round of applause. Fantastic. Could we just put them on the table for display? No? Yeah. I'm just worried they're going to look a lot better than what I've done here. Oh, it's all... This could be a quite final ending to the talk as Sam knocks me out. Thank you. Brilliant. Works of art. So what happens? Where do we put the finished masterpiece? Let's put it on display. I've made a feather, everyone. Here's one I made earlier. We put them on display for everybody to see, and that is what God wants. He wants his masterpiece displayed for his glory, for his goodness, that other people would see and know how good he is and would be drawn into the family. Due to time limitations, there's a clay masterpiece I made earlier. You know who the artist is later. It's not really mine. Wouldn't it be good if it was? Isn't it beautiful? Amazing. That's Laurie Mika, for those of you who like that sort of thing. So finally, there are some people that won't allow others to shape them. They resist listening to advice or correction. Here's a bit of clay that I had earlier that has gone completely hard. Let's not be like this. Let's not be soft. Let's not be not malleable. I'm so grateful to those who faithfully shaped me. I shared a fear of confrontation, just as an example, which came from different difficult experiences when I was younger in my mum and dad's church situation, where I feared particularly people's anger and their criticism, which had made me as an adult just very not liking it when people are angry and upset and facing that kind of confrontation. But God has really grown me and helped me through other people who are good in that area, Bev and others, the team, being prepared to help shape and encourage me, particularly to find that courage and to try it and to see how transforming it can be when it's done with God's help and it's done in love. I'm still on that journey, everyone, but it's different. So my final, I guess, invitation to you, just in closing, is to say, let's look for people wherever we are, in your work, in your family, in your school, university. Let's look for people that are open to our involvement, to see the masterpiece that they are. And there may be those that don't know God yet, but they're on their journey. Or they may be a brother and a sister in the family here tonight, open to your helping them mature, helping them take responsibility. And we just need to keep making the Father visible, because that's what making disciples is all about, isn't it? It's about introducing people to the Father, that they can be reconciled to him and know that they can be part of the family, having their sins forgiven and covered by grace. So if you're here tonight and you don't know that you've got a loving Heavenly Father who has made a way for you to be part of this family, don't go home tonight without letting somebody pray. I'd love to pray with you and introduce you to Jesus, that you could know him. So for ourselves, the question I just want to leave with you as we go back into worship is, are we still learning and growing? Are we soft and pliable to God and to others? Are we allowing the beauty of God to increasingly be seen in us and looking for it in other people and calling it out? I'll close there. Thank you.